Sanbonani. Hi guys, I hope you are doing well. My name is Alwadi Jabalala, an attorney of the High Court of South Africa. Today we actually have a very interesting topic, and I just want to let you guys know that since the elections are over, the cabinet has been announced. We are good to go. Let us get on with it. So, you are currently unemployed, or you actually want to change jobs. You are currently in the private sector and you are actually wondering, how do I get employed into government departments or into the public sector? Another way is, the first and most common way actually, is applying via the posts that are usually advertised at the DPSA. You can check that on Google, www.dpsa vacancies. You'll see there are circulars. They are advertised on a weekly basis every Friday at 12 p.m. Those circulars will basically give you vacancies in terms of which government departments, either it's national or provincial. Whoever is looking for that certain individual, everything is advertised there. So now, wondering how you are how to fill in the Z83, or you have been applying but you're just not getting the job. You're not being called in for an interview. You've had a look at your CV and you believe that your CV is top shayela, where it might not be your CV. In fact, it might be the way you're actually applying on the Z83. Sorry, that is actually a tongue twister. On the Z83. So now I'm actually going to be showing you guys how to apply. And the most common mistakes that I've seen, I've worked in HR before. I've seen how people are firstly forgetting or putting in the incorrect references, the department, because that's the first thing. Like the first few columns of the Z83 are asking you for the reference, the position you're applying for, and which department. If you get that wrong, firstly, HR will just sideline your application, because how will they know what position you're applying for? And they can also put in your CV in a pile whereby you didn't even apply for that post. So that's the importance of it. So now remember, there's a new Z83 that was established and gazetted in and approved as per the 2021 regulations. That is the Z83 that you guys are actually meant to be utilizing. So that's what I will be looking at today. I'm going to download the Z83. Just go on Google. You can also download the editable form for the Z83. When I apply for posts, I usually do it online, etc. Unless if, for example, I have to post that Z83. Unfortunately, I'm gonna print it, but everything is done online nowadays. So just download the editable version of the Z83 and fill it in. I'll be showing you guys how to do it. But one of the factors that I'm gonna highlight to you is to ensure that you initial on both pages. It's just 2 pages. Make sure that you initial and you sign on the last pages. Don't forget your references, guys. Don't forget to add where you worked, your previous employers and even your current employers. But let us go through the Z83, and I hope this information will be very much useful to you, and I wish you all the best of luck. But then again, before we move on, don't forget to like this video right now. Yes, I can see you. Like the video, make sure that you are subscribed, and then we're good to go. Without further ado, let us look at this Z83. Typed in Z83 editable word, you'll find it on Google, and therefore moved on to the DPSA website. I basically just picked the first circular that I found here in. This is advertised by the Department of Health. It also tells you where the applications can be sent through, the registered postal address, or you can hand deliver them as per the listed address, or you can also apply via email, which is kudos because this saves time and money for applicants. And then important thing to note is the closing date. It closes on the 15th of July, and therefore here it has a note for shortlisted candidates that they'll be subjected to a technical exercise. Also, it further states that you don't need to submit your copies or certified copies of your qualifications. Those will only be requested when you are shortlisted. This is also to save money, so kudos to government for ensuring that they at least think of us in this case, because I hated printing especially when you're applying for jobs. Moving on, I basically looked at the first post, and this is a deputy director position, projects management, and that's the reference number. And therefore, that's the most important thing that you need to know, that you need to utilize for the Z83. You can just also note the inquiries number should you have a problem or need to ask something. So Okay, guys, we have downloaded the Z83. I fill this online. However, you can also download, print it out, and manually fill it by typing in, or writing with your hand. So you saw that we looked at one of the vacancies that were advertised on the DPSA. That vacancy was for Deputy Director, Projects Management, and it was advertised under the Department of Health. The reference number, I've basically put it as it was stated in the advert. Please ensure that you put in the correct reference number. Otherwise, your application might just be regarded as null and void and therefore placed elsewhere if there's an incorrect reference number used. Also, it was asked, if you are offered the position, when can you start, or how much notice are you to serve? I'm going to serve 1 month's notice. Otherwise, you can specify 1 calendar month or as soon as possible. Now, let us go into detail and look at the personal information of the applicants. The applicants, we've basically used pseudonyms here in. The applicant is Priscilla Wabantu. Please ensure that you type in your full name and your surname. Oh, I actually made a mistake here in the surname is but I think you get the gist of it. But once again, this is just an example. Make sure that your surname is where your surname is meant to be and your full name is at the bottom. So in this case, I made a mistake. Wabantu is actually the surname, but I actually put it on the bottom. But let's move on. Your date of birth, make sure that your date of birth is as per the format. When you are typing in your Z83 on the editable form, there's a format utilized. You can just place you note, in this case, this is the date format. Also, don't forget to put in your ID number. I did not put in a passport number here since I've already placed an ID number. And then for your race, make sure that you select by crossing what is applicable to you. So what race is the applicant? The applicant is an African. Their gender, they are female. Do they have a disability? They said no. Are you a South African citizen? Yes. If no, then what is your nationality? In that case, we are not going to leave that blank. We're going to put NA for not applicable. Do you have a valid permit? Only if for non-South Africans. So therefore, we didn't tick anything here in, but we're going to put not applicable. Have you ever been convicted or found guilty of a criminal offense, including admission of guilt? We said no. But if yes, they will say provide your details. Where we're actually meant to provide the details, since we're not being found guilty, we just said NA for not applicable. Do you have any pending criminal case against you? No. If yes, specify, you specify, but in this case the applicant doesn't have any criminal cases, so it's not applicable. Have you ever been dismissed for misconduct from the public service? No. If yes, you specify the details. If not, you place not applicable, where I've actually placed not applicable. Do you have any pending disciplinary cases against you? No. But if yes, therefore please specify them, but if no, you just place NA. Have you ever resigned from a recent job pending disciplinary proceedings against you? No. But if yes, therefore you need to specify that disciplinary proceedings that is currently ongoing. But for now, if you said no, you put NA. Have you ever been discharged or retired from the public service on grounds of ill health or on condition that you cannot be re-employed? No. Are you conducting business with the state, or are you a director of a public or private company conducting business with the state? No. If yes, you provide the details. They don't have space where you need to provide the details, so I'm assuming under yes, you just specify whatever business. You just type it in there, okay, or write it in. In the event that you are employed in the public service, will you immediately relinquish such business interests? So based on your answer above, the fact that you are a director of a company and yes, you are conducting with business with the state, if you actually said yes, now they are asking you if you will relinquish any of those business interests. Then you say yes. So for example, if you want to for example you want to be employed in a government department, but you're currently conducting business with the state because you have a company supplying whichever department with ABC, then you need to relinquish those business interests. So in this case, you specify and say yes. But since the applicant herein does not have a business and they're not conducting business with any state, does not have a company and they're not conducting business with the state, they said no. And also they have nothing to relinquish, so it's not applicable to them. Please specify the total number of years of experience you have. So in this case, the applicant has got 5 years in the public sector, 5 years in the private sector. If your professional occupation requires official registration, please provide dates and particulars of registration. In this case, it is not applicable to the applicant. But however, some professions, there is registration. You'll therefore note that as per your registration or membership, etc., and list that. But in this case, the applicant, they placed not applicable. Therefore, this is the first page of the Z83. They ensure that they also initial using their initials right there at the bottom. Guys, the same things that I'm telling you, they are specified. They are specified here on the left side on the Z83 in terms of special notes, in terms of how you need to fill in. But sometimes a practical example is more applicable to most people, as more people are more visual. So in this case, I've just specified how you need to fill in the first form of this Z83. I'm therefore going to move on to the next form. Do not leave anything blank here in, guys. Now we've turned the page, and this is the second page of the Z83. So for section C, they're asking you for your context, details, and medium of communication, your preferred language for correspondence. For this applicant, they said English. The method for correspondence that they prefer is an email, and therefore the contact details in terms of the selection above. So in this case, if you had said your post address, you need to just give them or place your postal address, your fax number, your telephone number. But for this case, we placed the email address for the applicants. Section D is basically the language proficiency, the language that you speak, and you are able to write or read. So for this applicant, it's English. And as per the Z83, you can either state good, fair, or poor. There's no exceptional, there's no native. So in this case, the applicants just placed good for speaking, writing, and reading the languages that are specified herein. Let's move to section E, your formal education or your formal qualification. In this case, guys, please don't forget, you rank them from the highest to the lowest. So the highest qualification that you have, in this case, it was obtained from the University of the Witwatersrand. They have an MBA. They obtained it in 2018. They also have another qualification from the University of Cape Town, Master of Tax Laws, obtained in 2015. They also have another qualification from the University of the Witwatersrand, Bachelor of Laws, obtained in 2010. And which school do they go to? Now, there's another option. So in this case, for example, there's still space. You need to specify your secondary education. However, if there was no space and you have another tertiary qualification, it means this will be specified in your CV. So the applicants went to St. Girls, I don't know, high school, and they obtained a national senior certificate in 2006. Guys, these are just examples. This person doesn't exist and they don't even have these qualifications. So they ask you, are you current studies, institution and qualification? The applicant is not studying anything, so they said not applicable. And then section F, your work experience. Herein, it says also attach a detailed CV. So this needs to be in line with your CV. But remember, the Z83 is just a minimal document. In this case, they're basically giving you 3 spaces for your work experience. This is definitely not detailed enough. So your CV plays a huge role herein. For the applicants, and again, you rank them from most recent, just as per your qualifications. So the applicant is currently employed at XXY Incorporated as a legal manager from 2018, and then they placed dash dash. This basically means to current, remember. And then the previous experience is from AABBB Inc. They were senior associates. The details are there. I just want to tell you guys something. When you are using the online Z83, the editable one, and you're filling it online, there's a format, there's a date format. So in this case, it's the 1st of Jan 2015. The reason why I broke this down to you, the other one I manually filled it in. When you writing it on the editable format, it will tell you you can only utilize the YY, the date format, which means only 2 digits. However, if you are manually filling it in, you can type in 2 digits. So if you compare the 2018 and the 15 at the bottom, there's a reason why I made those 2 different. So even if you were doing it by hand, writing it by hand. You can add, this is the format for the Z83. It's for the month, 2 digits, and YY for the year, 2 digits. But if you are manually filling it in, you can be able to squeeze in 4 digits. However, the format is this case. So that's why I actually placed 2 formats here in, so that you guys understand. And therefore 2 from and to as basically the start and up until the end of when they actually left their place of employment. And then the reason for leaving is new opportunity. I usually state that, or you can say something else, or end of contract if it's applicable, etc. But this one is, it was a new opportunity, you know. And then again, another experience, LLK attorneys, junior associates, from to new opportunity. And then the next question is, if you were previously employed in the public service, is there any condition that prevents your reappointment? Yes or no? In this case, for the applicant, it's no. But if you had provided yes, then you need to provide details here in as to why. But for the applicant, it's not applicable. And therefore, your references, this is for section G. These are just random references. You need to specify them. As you can tell, the name, the relationship, and the office numbers, and therefore the declaration. By signing, you have to ensure that you sign this Z83, you date it, today is the 1st of July, and therefore you initial this Z83. Guys, if you don't initial already, you are disqualified. If you don't sign, you're already disqualified. I'm talking from experiences. I've also worked in HR. HR takes their job very seriously. They're not going to skim through every application to see that you guys have met the requirements. You just have to make sure that you tick. Okay, guys, that was a very, very fruitful discussion, and I hope you now understand how to correctly fill in a Z83. All the common mistakes that you know you've been doing, they've all been answered. Please just follow this technique, in as much as you might not be called in an interview, but at least it will not be because you filled the Z83 incorrectly. So for our next video, we'll be looking at how to basically construct a CV, and I'm going to speak of a curriculum vitae, not the resume. I will distinguish that one later on. I just want to wish every unemployed person out there that all the best of luck, and I hope this video you'll be able to utilize it. And also please share with the next person who does not have the privilege of having access to the internet. And if you are actually a teacher, I'll also encourage you, and you're teaching matric, I'll also encourage you guys to actually show the matriculants how to apply, because not every student has the privilege of going to tertiary straight after secondary education. Some students actually need to go and feed themselves and fend for their families, and in most cases, what do they need to do? They need to apply for entry-level government jobs, which will only require your matric results, and in that case they need to know how to fill in a Z83. So that is basically what this video is about. I want to wish every person out there the best of luck, and I want to say that sometimes it's not that you were not called in for interviews. Sometimes it's because your Z83 was incorrectly filled, or sometimes it's because your CV, it wasn't properly constructed. That is what our next video is about. Remember, guys, to stay tuned on this channel. Every week I come up with some new exciting topics for you. I'll be dropping videos every week, and please don't forget to subscribe. It definitely means a lot for me. So I just want to say, from Umam Shengu, with love, signing out.